Okay, also simultaneously let me share my screen. I'll just give you a background of what we are going to see as part of this course, and also I'll just connect the dots. I'll try to understand what are the different systems involved and what is our the course going to be. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Please confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, able to see.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, good. So, right, you see my SAP screen, right?
Yes, yes.
So, let's see what is SAP BRIM. And before that, okay, so this is today is going to be a overview session, and we'll just try to understand what is BRIM and what we are going to cover as part of this course, and what are the different modules that are involved, and how they are connected, and how the data flows between them, and what are the different objects that we are going to configure or create. Those are the things that we are going to see. Okay, so in general, I mean, in general, if you look at any of the sales process, okay, so let's try to understand why BRIM is required, and where this SAP BRIM comes into picture, in which business scenario, which business use case, and what are the companies that are going to use. Okay, so if you look at any of the sales process, okay, so any company that is trying to sell their products, okay, what they do, so they have a list of products, right? They have a list of products they have, and they try to sell these products to the company. Okay, example, let's take an example of laptops. Okay, so they are physical products, right? The laptop is a physical product, or whatever the TVs or whatever the business. Okay, so a company, they have list of products. Okay, they try to sell it to the customers. Okay, how many ways they can sell their products to the customers? So they can sell directly to the customers. Okay, so we call it as B2C. So they sell directly to the customers these products, right? And there is another possibility of they can directly sell these products to the company, right? We call it as B2B, business to a business, right? Let's say you as a customer, you can directly go and purchase a laptop from different be it a store or be it a website. You can directly go and purchase the laptop, and that we call it as B2C. As a customer, they are directly selling to the customers. Okay, so we call it, when we say B2B, so it is a business. I mean, let's say a big company. Okay, so some companies, let's say the Dell is manufacturing its laptops. Okay, so they can directly sell it to the customers, or they can directly sell it to the big companies like Info or TCS or Cognizant. They can directly sell it to the business. That we call it as B2B. Okay, so B2B and B2C are the two different scenarios where a company can sell their products. Okay, so in sales process, what happens is, first what they do, a customer comes into the comes to the store. Customer comes to the store, or customer visits the company's website. They place an order, right? Or if it is a B2B, what they do is, a representative from the company calls this selling company and asks for, let's say I need 1,000 laptops from the company. Okay, so they place an order. The sales representative at the company, what they do is, they place an order for that customer. They place an order for the customer, right? And then what they do is, after an order is placed, they do the BGI. I mean, it's a terminology that we use for shipping. Okay, we need to ship it to the customer, shipping slash delivery to the customer, right? So we need to deliver that product, or the product to the customer. Once the shipping is done, what we do is, okay, so we generate a billing. So and so is a billing. This is what the amount that is that the customer is going to pay. Okay, so after billing, what we do is, we do the invoicing. So invoicing is something that we send to the customer, in B2C, what happens is customers directly, generally they pay upfront in B2C scenario. Okay, so even though we generate an invoice, but it is already paid. But in case of B2B, what happens is a big companies, they first receive the goods, and then what the selling company do is they send an invoice to that B2B company, and then they make the payments. In B2B, ideally, the payment comes at later point of time. After invoicing is sent to the customer, it is sent to the customer. How many of you know this process? Then we do the receivables. Right? So here, this is a sales process, okay, where we have a module called SAP SD. Okay, to make this process, SAP came up with SAP SD as a module where you have this shipping. Okay, product should be shipped, right? Otherwise, customer is not going to pay the amounts, right? The product must be shipped. There is a physical delivery is involved in case of sales process, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
This is generally, I mean, in general, wherever you see a physical product is involved, the the process that we follow is this one. Something, it looks something like this. Okay, then let's say if there is, let's take an example of your simple example is your mobile plan. Okay, I'll just go with simple example of mobile plan. Okay, so mobile plan, here what happens is, do we have any shipping involved? Let's say, let's copy the same scenario. So what do you do? You go to a store, or you can directly book. You can directly purchase a plan, right? Let's say it can be of a different plan. Let's say that it's a 300 per month. Okay, 300 per month. Okay, so in the 300 per month, you'll get some. Let's say you'll get some. 10,000 minutes as free, or some 2 GB data per day, right? Per day, or it can be 20 GB data per month, or per day, or per month. So something like that it comes up with, right? So as a customer, you go to a mobile, you go to a store. Excuse me. Yes. So here, so we're trying to understand what is a mobile plan, right? So I want to buy a plan of 300 per month, which gives me some minutes free, or unlimited calling, and some data free per day or per month, right? So here, customer, what he do is he'll go to a store, right? He will, I mean, when we visit a store, we will ask for what are the different plans that they have. We will ask them to show us, right? If you go to a store, or if you go to a website, we'll see what are the different plans offered by a certain company, a telecom company. Let's take an example of a telecom company, right? Here, as soon as we order this, let's say that I'll select, the customer selects this product, and customer select this plan. So do we see any PGI, or shipping or delivery involved in this? Do they deliver anything if you go for this plan? Is there any delivery involved in this?
No.
There is no delivery, right? We don't see any delivery because it's all it's issued, and there is no delivery involved in any of the mobile plan, any of the services that they are. It's a kind of a service they are offering to us. We are going to purchase it, and we are going to start using the service, right? But 300 per month. So once the customer goes for this one, what they do, what the company, telecom company, will do is they do the billing and invoicing, and they send that, hey, I mean, this is something you're going to pay per month, right? So this scenario, I mean, any of the scenarios like this. Okay, so these are all what there is no delivery involved. And also I'll give you one more here. For us, let's say that the laptop is costing around some 100,000. Okay, so laptop cost is 100,000 rupees, and you're going to pay this 100,000 rupees, right? 1 lakh rupees. So does your in case of sales, okay, if you're buying a laptop, does your price gonna increase more than this 100,000? So once you pay 100,000, the 1 lakh rupees, there is no other way. I mean, you are not going to pay any other amount, right? So you can pay this in monthly installments, or some installments you are going to pay. But once you reach this 100,000, there is no other amount. You are not going to pay any other amount. So there is a fixed end date for this, right? You are not going to pay any extra after this. Is it clear? But here, in case of this plan, okay, so I'm buying a mobile plan, 300 per month. Do you see any fixed end date for this? There is no fixed end date for this, right? Because you're going to pay this 300 per month every month until you end your service, right? Until you end your service, you're going to pay. And let's say the customer every month, customer, once he chose this plan, we are going to bill to that customer, we are going to invoice to that customer, and we send this invoice to the customer for payments. So this happens every month, right? Every month this scenario happens, right? Now, two things here. Okay, so one is we are not going to physically delivering anything here in case of the mobile plan, and also there is no fixed end date for this. Okay, so customer is going to pay as long as he is going to use that service. Okay, so all the products, okay, let's uh, not just a telecom industry, it can be an insurance company, it can be an it can be healthcare, or it can be any cloud products, or a simple example is your licenses also, right? License. Right now, this kind of a business is expanding to almost all the industries. Okay, so what they do is you pay as long as you use the service, you are going to make the payments. Okay, so this is what we call it as a subscription. Okay, so we are going to call this kind of a scenario as a subscription. So as long as you're using the service, you're going to do the payments, right? Unlike the hardware, whatever the physical delivery, which involves physical delivery, the laptops or the other physical products, compared to physical products, it is very different. Okay, here there is no physical form of a product exists, but a service exists here, right? There is no physical form of a product. Do you see any physical form of a mobile plan 300 per month? You don't see that, right? So here there is no physical form exists, and also you're going to use the service as long as until you terminate the service, and the payments, you're going to make the payments and as long as you use the service. So payments can be monthly, or it can be yearly, or it can be quarterly. So there is no fixed end date for this. So these kind of a scenarios are covered using SAP has come up with a application called SAP BRIM. So SAP BRIM deals with the scenarios where there is no physical delivery is involved, and also there is a service which customers are going to subscribe. Okay, so this SAP BRIM can be applied to a telecom industry, it can be applied to insurance, healthcare, or cloud, or licenses. So there are multiple ways wherever you see a service that is going to be subscribed and later point of time the customers are going to use, there you can apply SAP BRIM. SAP BRIM as an application you can use and for the business. Okay, is it clear so far?
Yes.
Okay, now so when how SAP BRIM how SAP BRIM supports this kind of a business scenarios. Okay, So, and also before we go, how SAP BRIM supports this kind of scenario. So, what are the different charges? I mean, let's say that, take an example of mobile plan itself. Okay. So, what are the different charges that you see? What are the different charges that you see in case of a mobile plan? What are the charges that you are responsible for, making a payment? Anyone?
Net data charges, calling charges,
Okay, so that will be part of your
pack. Mhm.
package, right? I mean, let's say 300 per month if you're using, or $10 per month. So you're going to, that will be part of your package only. So whenever you take a mobile plan, there is something called an activation fee, right? So is it clear, guys? So there is something called an activation fee. This fee is what? How many times you are going to pay this one?
One time.
One time, right? So one time only we make the pay that activation fee. Right? I'm just trying to correlate how we are going to see different charges in SAP BRIM, and what are the different charges we have to deal with these charges. Okay, so at the end we need to, as a company, let's say company who is implementing SAP BRIM or any other application, at the end they have to generate an invoice and receive the amounts from the customer, right? So that's how the business works. At the end you have to generate an invoice and receive the payments for the customers for the products they are offering. So in SAP BRIM, what are the different charges that we can see, or any subscription related business? One time is that we call it as one time. Okay, so one time it can be any charge. Okay, so only one time the customer is going to pay is called a one time fee. In mobile plan, it is an activation fee. Just an example. Okay, now the next fee can be what? Next charge can be what?
Recurring fee.
Recurring, right? So every month you are going to pay a recurring fee. Right, every month you are going to pay according to your billing frequency. Let's say if you choose this for quarterly, you are going to pay every quarterly, right? So it's a recurring. Until you use the service, you are going to pay the amounts, right? And what is the other charges you can see
Based on usage.
based on usage? Okay, so what is this usage then? So I'll give you an example. Okay, so take the same example, 300 per month. Okay, so they have given us some 1,000 minutes free in this. Let's assume that. Okay, let's assume that they have given us 1,000 minutes free and 2 GB per data, 2 GB per day. Okay, so you exhausted your 2 GB of data, but still, let's say that on a given day you exhausted your 2 GB data. Okay, but still your plan is active. Okay, what you do is you wanted to use more data. What you do, if you are a postpaid customer, they will allow you to use more data. You don't have to pay. I mean, if it is a prepaid, you have to refill that
Top
one.
up. We top up. Yeah.
You have to top up, right? That is an additional payment to this. That's a kind of additional payment to this. If it is a postpaid, they allow you to use more data, but what they do is, as you exhausted your 2 GB of data, they are going to charge you extra for that. I mean, it's your. I mean, they are going to monitor your usage, saying that, hey, I mean, you have used 2 GB of your data for this day, and once you reach, or above whatever the data that you use above 2 GB, they're going to charge you. Let's say that you used a 3 GB data on a given day. Okay, so what they do is 3 GB minus 2 GB for the rest of the 1 GB, they're going to charge you, and your bill will be what, 300 plus that extra. Okay, whatever this we call it as usage or consumption. Okay, this kind of a fees we call it as consumption. If you take an example of an OTT, okay, let's simple example is, let's take an OTT, right? OTT, do we have any activation fee? Do we pay any activation fee for OTT?
No.
We don't have any. I mean, there is only a recurring fee, right? There is a recurring fee. And do we have any usage in OTT?
Oh.
I mean, some can be right. Let's say the on-demand content, or you can purchase on-demand content, right? You can buy, for some of the content they say that you have to buy, or the rental movies. You can rent a movie, right? So that's a usage kind of a thing. So that we treat it as a usage, because anything above your plan is a usage charge, right? Anything above, anything beyond your plan. Let's say that OTT you're paying, 100 per month. Okay, so at the end of the month, you have to pay 100 rupees per month, right? Recurring is what you will be paying 100 rupees per month, and usage is what, let's say that in that given month you rented a few of the movies. Okay, let's say that that comes around 50 rupees. Okay, so in OTT we don't have any activation fee, but usage can be like the rental can be a usage, or on demand content can be a usage, right? And in case of LinkedIn, okay, let's take that LinkedIn we will be using, I mean, most of us will be using LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn, do we have any other what are the different charges that LinkedIn can have? I'm just trying to correlate how what are the things, different business scenarios. Do they have any activation fee for LinkedIn?
No.
So recurring, if you I mean, it's actually it's a freeware, right? You don't have to you don't have to make any payments. You can directly, it's a service, free service. But premiums, they offer certain services on top of it. They say that hey, I mean, you can activate your premium service. So it's a kind of a recurring. There is only one recurring. Do you have any usage there?
No.
No, right? So these are the different charges that you see. The charges that we use in different industries varies according to their business, right? So telecom company, they have a one time fee, they have a recurring fee, they have a usage fee. But when it goes to a different company, different industry, it cannot be, I mean, the all these charges may not be applicable, only few, right? So the charges varies across different industries. I mean, according to the industry, the different charges can come into the picture. Okay, so it's not it's just remember that it's not always mandatory to have all the charges, all different charges. It's optional. So according to the business, we come up with the different charges. So we understood that there are three different type of charges that are available, that are applicable to a subscription related business. Do you see any other charges? Can anyone come up with any other charge apart from these three charges? Do you see any other charges? Anyone? Today is an intersection. Okay, so try to just ask whatever you have in mind. You can just say. Okay.
No clues, sir, from my side.
Okay. You can ping it in the chat window if you're unable to speak. So just try to think of any other charges that you see. Okay, so in SAP or any subscription related business, any of the charge, whatever the charges that you're charging to the customer fall into these three categories. It can be a one time fee, it can be a recurring fee, or it can be a usage based fee. Okay, so apart from these three, we don't see any other charges. I mean, anything can be, we can fit any of the charge into either of these three. Okay, now, so in the subscription we are going to deal with these kind of these three charges. Okay, and also we understood that there is no shipping involved. We don't ship, right? It's a service in subscription. What all the services that are offered as a subscription is covered is handled using SAP BRIM. Okay, so but what is SAP BRIM and how it's gonna what are the different modules are involved, and how the flow, how the sequence of flow from ordering to the invoicing, what are the scenarios that we can see inside BRIM, we'll see that. Okay, so in SAP we are just trying to understand what is SAP BRIM and what are the different modules involved in this. Okay, so for those people who don't know SAP, we'll go into the system and we'll see. But for now, just try to focus on what is SAP BRIM, and why it is why SAP brought this BRIM as an application for subscription related business. Okay, this is a theory. Okay, we'll see how it looks like, and we'll see going forward the complete flow. We'll how to log in, how to look for the different systems, how the data is flowing, that we can see. Okay, so when I say SAP BRIM as an application, they came up with three modules or four. Okay, so one is subscription order management. Okay, the second one is convergent invoicing. So third one is convergent charging. Fourth one, I mean, this it's not exactly. It's we call it as contract accounting, or this is SOM. This we call it as CI. So our training will be on these three modules. Okay, so CC. We'll see how to integrate. This we call it as FICA. FICA. We'll see how we integrate this FICA with all these three. Okay, but our course is mainly on this subscription order management, convergent invoicing, and convergent charging, along with few integrations for FICA, few details for FICA. Okay, now let's try to understand in subscription what are the different objects. I mean, we know that there are three different charges, right? So for one time, we'll see how the flow happens. Okay, so for one time and recurring, and then we are going to invoice the customer, right? So for one time and recurring, what is the flow that we are going to see inside in the BRIM? Okay, so what happens is we have a concept called provider order. Okay, this is where the customer, or the sales representative. Okay, what sales rep will do? Sales rep from a company, telecom company. Let's say that a company sales rep exists for a telecom company. Whenever a customer comes into the comes to the store, so what the sales rep will do is he will show different plans available with them, right? So first, initially, what we have, let's take the telecom company. Okay, telecom. We'll generalize this to a different industry when we deal with training. For now, to make you understand, I'm just taking a telecom industry. Okay, so so what they do is in the telecom they have different plans, right? 300 per month plan is there, or 400 per month, or 1000 per quarter, or 2500 per annum. Just random examples. Okay, so like this you can see almost 1000 plus, or 100 plus, different combinations. They have different plans, right? So we call these as products. So for a company, these are the products, right? For a company, this is their product. They're trying to sell this one to the customer. So we call it as a product, or SKU. In case of in SKU, we call it as also SKU, product or SKU. Okay, for a company, these are the products they have, right? And whenever a customer comes to a store, the sales rep, what they do is they will show, okay, hey, these are the plans that we have available. And the customer, what they do is, okay, they select, I mean, based on the his requirement or the customer's requirement, they select a plan. Okay, what the sales rep will do is they create a provider order in the system. Okay, and once a provider order is created, customer, the sales rep will start creating an order for that customer. Okay, so as long as the customer confirms, they can say that, customer, okay, he wanted to see 300 plan, 400 plan. So initially it will be shown on the order. Okay, this is what your billing is going to be. Okay, so once customer says that, okay, I'm okay with this plan, please activate the service. Okay, so as soon as a service is activated, we call it as a fulfillment of the service. What happens is, we in the system, a contract gets created. Okay, so a contract gets created. So before that, we have products and also we have customers, right? What are the different objects we have? We have product and then we have customers. So we call it as business partners, PP. Okay, now customer says that, okay, initially sales rep will show the order with the different plans, and then once a customer confirms any of the plan, they create a contract. So at the end, when we are creating an order, there is no guarantee that, customer is going to purchase this one, right? So once the customer confirms, then only they activate the service. As soon as a service is activated, a contract is created. So here it is confirmed that whenever a contract is created, customer has to pay because the service is going to be started, right? So once a contract is generated, okay, the service is active now. Okay, the service is active. Now we need to bill the customer every month, right? So we use a concept called a billing plan. Okay, so these are the different objects that we are going to see, but I'm just trying to highlight the flow of what we are going to do. Okay, so then in the billing plan, once a billing plan is created, we do the billing for the customer, we do the invoicing for the customer, and then we do the receivables. We receive the payments. Okay. Okay, so invoicing is generated, and we are going to receive the payments from the customer. Okay, so this provider order or contract is handled in subscription order management. This is just a high level flow. Okay, you're looking at the system from somewhere around 30,000 feet. Okay, so there are huge number of things that are involved. So these two are the objects that are part of your subscription order management. And then this billing plan, the billing and the invoicing is handled in CI, is a module. If we have seen here, right? These are the different modules. So what are the different things that we are going to do in the system? This is at the higher level. Okay, so there are a number of things that we are going to add in between. Here also we are going to see, we are going to add different things in between. And then this will be your FICA. Okay, so the same. So what are we going to charge to the customer? These are the three different charges, right? So be it a one-time, recurring, or usage. Okay, so we follow this path for one-time and recurring charges. Okay, but how you charge usage-based amounts to the customer? For usage-based, we are going to use. So what are we have seen that right here. If you look at what are the four systems we have seen: SOM, CI, CC, and FICA. But in this path, only SOM, CI, and FICA is. Where is CC? Okay, so for usages, we are going to use a different path where we have a contract. First, we need to create a contract. This is mandatory, right? Then only we see the usages. So SOM is required. But for usages, we go to a different route called CC. where we do the rating. These are the different concepts, okay? Rating and charging. And then it will go to CI. But in CI, we are not going to use a billing plan. We do the billing and invoicing. Okay, so this is the part. But how it's going to happen? How do we link these objects? What are the relevance of these objects and how they look like in the system? We are going to see that in our training. Okay, but on an overall, if you look at if you are looking at 30,000 feet high, this is how it's going to look like. Okay, so everybody able to follow, or anyone has any question, you're able to understand how the things are connected, and what are we going to do? Is it clear for everyone?
Yeah, all good.
You can type it in the chat window if you need any clarification, or if you don't understand any other things. Okay, now
Just one question. Provider order means is it a purchase order?
it's not a purchase order. It's a different order. It's not a purchase order. In subscription terminology, there is a concept called provide order, specifically for subscription related products. We have different set of data. We have different set of data for subscription related products, so that is captured under provide order. So order,
What are
yes,
the example which we had? It is the B2C, not the B2B. So in the B2B terminology, do we have provider order?
yes. It's not just for B2B or B2C. The flow is like this. It can be for B2B or it can be for B2C. It's applied for both. Even let's say if a big company is coming, okay, business is trying to purchase, okay, it's not just that only customers can go and purchase, right? Even companies, they offer to their employees, they buy some thousand number of this quantity, and they distribute that to their employees, right? So here the company comes into picture, the B2B comes into picture, but they had to go for a order, or the sales rep, what they do is, okay, hey, I mean, my customer is now B2B, not B2C. Customer is changing, but the products, are the flow won't change. Customer can be a B2B or customer can be a B2C, right? It's customer is right, customer is B2B or B2C, B2B or B2C. Clear? You'll understand, how a customer looks like, how the flow look like, but the process remains same for it, whether it is a B2B or B2C, it remains same.
No, you said initially B2B and B2C process is different. Okay. So now you are saying that I don't know, the scenario is same. So what does it mean?
I don't know. B2B and B2C, the way we make payment is different. Okay. It's not that the process is not different, right? B2C, if you're a customer, you pay upfront. If it is a payments only, not the process, you have to create a billing, you have to do the invoicing. This is all remains same. But in case of B2B, as it is a large order and also they have the relationship is built, the invoicing is done, then the invoicing is sent to the customer. The when we receive the payments is deferred for B2B and B2C. For a customer, if you are going to purchase a product, okay, so they are not going to give you, I mean, they don't wait until you receive the product, right? You have to pay it upfront, then only you receive the product, right? For a B2B, if it is a big company, or customers, they have that relationship. They wait until they ship their product, and they wait until the customer make the payment. It is how you do the business. Nothing. The process remains same. If it is,
Okay.
if you are B2B or B2C, process remains same.
So you mean to say only payment while making the payment, that it's a different, but before making the payment, the order generation, everything is same for both
Everything
the
is
cases.
yes, that's right. That's right.
And one more thing, because maybe I missed, I think it's BRIM is also a part of SAP SPRO, or it's a separate third-party application, or it's an add-on. Can you please explain that one?
SPRO is common across. I mean, if SPRO is for configuration of the system, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Other all the modules you can configure using SPRO or SAMG, right?
Yeah,
So it's the same for BRIM, or BRIM is an application like SDR or MM, or your SCM or SRM or FSCM. So it's like another module. Yeah, you'll use for configuration. You use SPRO only. Yes.
okay, okay, okay. It's a part of same node. I mean, in under the same. Okay,
Yes. That's right. That's right.
okay,
But
okay,
you have to activate your BRIM as an you have to
okay.
functions you need to enable or activate, right? So that you have to do.
So my question is, third question, it's a add-on, or it's come it's a SAP product. If you buy, a customer is going to buy
Yes,
S/4HANA installation,
yes.
it's a add-on, or it's along with the SAP, it comes automatically.
Purchase. You have to purchase this.
Okay,
Business
okay,
functions, your basis team, they will install BRIM components, right?
okay.
So they are going to install your BRIM components. So this is an SAP screen. I mean, just ignore the people who haven't seen SAP screen. Just ignore for now. Okay? Just trying to show.
Okay,
If you look at your switch framework, you'll see that FICA is installed, or subscription order management is installed, CI is installed, right?
yeah,
So these are the FICA X, if you see this, right? So these are the components that are installed. Then only you can use the system for FICA, or subscription order management, or uh,
Mhm.
convergent invoicing,
Okay,
CI. So without this install, these are the components that you need to install. This is done by your basis team,
correct. Yeah, very
right?
nice.
If you want to use but the SPRO, once you have those installed, then you can see it in the SPRO, the specific things related to your if you see this, there is a service for subscription order management. The nodes remain same. Another node gets added. This is for
Okay,
subscription order management. This is for sales and distribution, material management, like this.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, no worries, no worries. So we are going to use, our training will be on SAP S4 HANA. S4 HANA 2022. Okay, version is 2022. So we know that we have a module called SOM, CI, CC, and FICA. Okay, so your SOM system is part of your S4 HANA. CI is part of S4 HANA, and FICA is part of your S4 HANA. And you can directly go into log into your SAP screen and go into the screen, and you can look for that functionality. But CC is not part of S4 HANA. CC is an independent standalone system. CC is a standalone system. Okay. CC is a standalone system. I'll just try to show how SAP looks like and how CC looks like. Okay. Let me just exit this one. So for those who are from non-SAP background, so any SAP application, if you're trying to access, you have to use a logon pad. Okay, SAP logon pad, and then you need to select the relevant system and click on. Then you need to log in. Okay, so this will take you to the SAP screen. This is an SAP screen. Okay, so here in this we have different navigation paths SAP has given. We can use CI, SOM, and FICA configurations in the system. But CC is not part of this S4 HANA, and it is an independent system. So if you look at, as I mentioned, right, it's a different system. So you see this, there is a core tool. Okay, to log into CC, we have to use it's a different system. So we have to, the navigation is different. Okay, this is how a CC screen looks like. Okay, the password is not wrong. That's fine. So we once we log in, this will take us to the CC system. The CI is different and CC is different. And also we can see how SOM is connected, CI is connected, FICA is connected, and how CC is connected to SOM, CC is connected to CI. So these are the different integrations also you can see as part of our training. Okay, how the data is flowing, how they are integrated with each of the system, what kind of a data is flowing between each and every system. So in the subscription order management, first we'll try to see what are the different objects that we are going to create. Okay, so initially we start our training with the creating a company and company code. So these are the different objects and sales area. So which is your sales or distribution channel. We'll understand what are these. Okay, and then we're going to create a subscription product. We're going to create a business partner. We're going to create a contract account. Okay, and
Provider contract.
yeah, so we are going to create a provider contract. Order first. Okay, first is order. Orders. Then contract. We'll also see so what is ODI. We have something called ODI, order distribution infrastructure, and we also see a change processes. We also see master agreements. So these are the things that we are going to. Okay. And in CI, we have what we're going to see. We see a billing plan for recurring, and we're going to see a billable item management. We're going to see consumption item management. We are going to see billing process, invoicing process, clarification cases, preliminary invoice. Okay, these are the few concepts that we're going to see. Okay, so the billing process, invoicing process itself, a huge. These are all very big concepts. Okay, so they take a lot of time to understand. So on a overall and at a higher level, I just listed out the topics. Okay, so they are a very big topic. And in the convergent charging, we are going to see a charge plan, a price plan. So what are these objects and how they are linked? We will be seeing in our training sessions. Okay, and charging plan, and rating. We are going to charge charging and mapping tables, tables. I'll say there are different tables. Okay, so counters. So these are the few subjects, few concepts you are going to see. You can also charging plan, charges. Okay. So once we finish with this, we'll see how an integration from CI to integration to SCA from CI. So we'll see a few things. So open item, how we're going to see the open items. Okay, few things. Integration to FICA. So this is our over an overview. If you look at these are the different kind of objects that we're going to create, and we'll see how they are communicating, how the integration is happening between these three systems, and what are the different objects. Okay, so this will be for today's demo, and this is what we are going to do. And this, let me know if anyone need any clarification or any doubts you have.
Do we
Uh,
have rating in CA?
Sorry,
Do we have rating in CA?
your voice is
Rating,
very.
rating component in CA.
Okay, in CI rating process, yes. That's part of your consumption data management, but I'll mention it. Rating is also there. Rating is there. That's part of your consumption data management.
Billing cycle.
what's the difference between, like, we have seen hybris billing was also there. So, like, what's the difference between BRIM and hybris billing?
Both are same.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any other questions?
And the duration of the this training will be for 45 days?
Yeah, it's more or less yes. It's going to be.
Okay. And I see, like, these are on classes are on daily basis. Or do you provide an option of any weekend classes or any recorded sessions?
So we will be yes. So if everybody is okay, then we can have weekend classes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the recordings are the weekend classes that we can see. I mean, according to the everyone's availability, then we can manage the timings.
Sure.
Can you give real-time issues also? Will you able to share because you are the real-time working as a real-timer also? So will you able to share those issues, incidents, or where we'll get issues?
Yeah, we can discuss actually. So
Okay.
while we progress, right? So we'll see, how the see once you are able to. First thing is you need to understand how the things are happening. All right. So that's your first step. Once you are
Yeah.
able to understand how the things are happening, then we can see where things frequently. I mean, where we are going to get issues, or where we face problems in general. Those things, yes, we'll see few of the cases. First thing is you need to understand the setup and how the data is flowing. Then you'll be able to. I mean, you yourself can able to understand once the training progresses.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll be basically covering, like, from configuration, like we'll be doing configuration and all first, and then the transactions.
Uh, it's like we'll take a scenario, we'll try to understand, we'll try to configure. Okay, so we'll follow this kind of a flow. Okay, so more or less this kind of a flow, but a lot of things needs to be added here. we'll follow a path. Okay, so we'll take an example of a service, and where we'll see how the customer is coming, and what are the different objects that we are going to create, and how the customer is placing an order, how it is going into different systems, how the data is processed in different systems, and how the customer is going to do the payments and all. We are going to see that.
Okay, so kind of like telecom company code will be setting up, and yeah.
Exactly, yes. So end to end, you can see from order to invoice what is going to happen, that we are going to see in the different scenarios.
Okay.
So we'll for today we'll wind up. Uh, just reach out to the email ID given, right? If you have any questions, you can reach out to that.
Okay.
Just a small question.
Sure, yeah.
In FICA, do we have FIAR system?
No, FIAR is see, FICA is different, right? So for FICA is a subledger kind of a system, right?
So
So before,
then the,
yeah, FIAR is, it's not on the BRIM
what
side. I mean, for SD, if you are using SD, then before you, that FIAR is something that comes before you transfer the data to FI, right? So FICA is a subledger. Actually, what happens is in BRIM, we see millions of records being processed every month. Okay, so in general ledger, what we do, we don't want to post million records in FI directly, where you do the reporting and everything you do in FI, right? So it unnecessarily increase the load on the FI system. Also, it's very hard to instead of looking at minimal. It's always better to look at the minimal number of data in FI instead of we posting millions of records in FI. It's very difficult if you post all the data. So that's where your FICA comes into picture, where you summarize all the records. The 1 million records will be summarized into 1,000 records. So that summarization happens in FICA. It's a kind of a subledger before you post anything to FI.
okay. So in the say the way how CA works, the same way FICA also will work. Like in CA system, we have if we have number of transactions, that will be grouped into single billing document, and if we have multiple billing documents, that will be grouped into single invoicing document. So likewise, if we have multiple invoicing documents, that will be grouped into single FICA document.
No. Okay. So FICA, where it comes into picture, let's say, excuse me. So FICA, so what happens is before this process is done, okay. So once the receivables is done, then we hand over this data to FI. Okay. So after this, there is an FI. Okay. Why do we need an FICA here in between? Because in BRIM, in any subscription business, you see, let's say that take an example of mobile plan itself. Okay, so how many times, let's say there is a you have purchased a 300 per month plan, right? So every month you are going to pay 300. That's one fixed record that is going to get generated. One invoice going to be generated for that, right? So for a customer point of view, so you're going to, what company will do is they'll monitor the usage of your service. I mean, as part of this service, you are limited to let's say 1,000 minutes, or 2 GB or 10 GB data. Okay. But the 2 GB or 10 GB data, are you going to consume at one shot? No, right? So every day you're going to consume some amount of data. They have to monitor. Okay, so let's say that you have opened your session, and you used some 100 KB of data once. In a later point of time, you have used 200 KB of data, 1 MB of data, or 2 MB of data. So in a day, you're going to use the service for almost 10 to 20 times, single customer. So every what the company will do is they monitor. Okay, they monitor your usage, how you are using the service, and also they will calculate if you are exceeding your service or not. Okay, but for them it's a record, right? So they're going to create a record. So record one comes with the data, hey, I used 100 KB data for now. This is per day. So they'll see, okay, whether to what they do is they'll decide whether to charge for this or not. Let's say that it's if it is within the limits, they'll say that this is 0 rupees. They're not going to charge, right? Or if it is if the charge comes, if it is beyond your usage, they'll say that 1 rupee I'm going to charge the customer. So in a day, there can be huge number of records that get generated for a given service. Okay, one customer, let's say that on average per day you're generating 10 records. That means 300 records per given customer, and
Mm-hmm.
millions of customers are there. So how many records we are going to generate, how many bills we are going to generate? It will be in millions only, right? The data that we are going to process is in millions. So the bills, the number of bills that you are generating is in millions. And what they do is in FI, why do they need FICA before FI? Because we cannot transfer all these 1 million records into FI, because they have a concept called they use a concept called reconciliation key. What it will do is, okay, at the end in FI, what they do from this service line, okay, I generated how much how much amount is generated, how much revenue is generated from this service line, right? So then they want to look at how much revenue is generated for their P&L statements, for their reporting, or any other reporting. They do it in FI. They don't need all these records, right? How much we are charging to a customer, 1 rupee. So like that, 300 times you are charging to the customer. Do they need all those information? They don't need, right? Because they only need at the end how much is charged. One record is enough, right? Instead of 300 records, one record. Hey, I mean, at the end for this customer, 300 records. Okay, let's say that the record 300. Okay, and for a service, what service of 300, this product line. Okay, 300 product line. They generated for 300 one second, 300 product line. For this customer one, or sometimes they
Uh,
actually don't even need also customer. We charged some 400 rupees. So instead of 300 lines, you're going to post only this record to the customer, to the FI. So they'll understand easily. Instead of you sending all the data for consolidation or reconciliation in FI, you do the summarization. You send only one record. It's a subledger. FICA is a FICA will do that job. It will summarize all the data and send only the relevant information to FI.
can you show me an example, if you don't mind?
If you look at this one, this is an example. I mean, you mean
In this,
in the system? We will see that. Okay, today being day one, right? We'll see how it looks like. The summarization looks like. It may be confusing for others, but we'll see it in the system.
yeah, this record will be sent to the customer in the form of what kind of document?
I mean, your invoicing document will be sent to the customer. You're invoicing the number of bills that are get generated, right? I mean, if you look at your mobile plan invoice, they'll give you, okay, for what are the different you'll see that there are 100 records will be there in your mobile bill, right? They'll show you what are the different charges that happened during that month, right? It's a list. They'll give you the list of records that you're in the invoicing. When you generate an invoicing document, in the invoicing document you see all the list of charges that are occurred for that month. You understood, right? What is FICA? But we'll see it in the system once you see it in the system. But this concept, I mean, it's kind of, I'll for your understanding, I can show it in the system, but we are not going to configure end to end of this one. Okay, for your understanding, we can see it in the system. So any other? We'll wind up for today then. If no other questions.
Thank you so much, Rahul.
Yeah, take care. Yeah, take care, guys.